Well, greetings, my dear friends and fellow patriots and truth seekers worldwide. How is everybody today on this beautiful, bright, and sunny Monday afternoon in Boise, Idaho? Listen, this sun is kind of weird, but I'm just kind of going to go with it because I like the way it looks on the camera. If you don't like it, just look away and listen. But I'm sure the sun is moving across the sky and it won't be like this for very long. So just tolerate it. Be cool. Chill out. As my friend excuse me, sir, Lieutenant General Michael Flynn came out the other day and told everybody, he said, just take a deep breath, relax, be calm, and watch the work of the Lord. Listen, friends, I know a lot of you out there right now are really upset. Everybody is not sleeping well. You know, you just don't know what's going on. You're hearing that Joe Biden is the next president. They're having celebrations. They're calling him 46, all this crazy shit. Let me remind everybody watching this video right here at the outset that fake news media outlets do not decide presidential elections. Do you understand that? It matters not that these 7 communist-backed news agencies, to include Fox News has lost all credibility. We still have some of our favorites over there like Tucker Carlson. People are talking about Tucker running for president in 2024, like he's the leading GOP candidate for the 2024 election. I'm not kidding you. Tucker Carlson. Shit, I done picked up a bunch of domain names about Tucker and the presidency. You know what I'm saying? I'm a futurist, man. I'm reading the tea leaves well in advance. So, and people that watch me, that's the deal. That's what I do. I'm going to call it like I see it. My job for you new folks that have kind of come here. Oh, shit, I got my Trump sign is not showing. I got to pull that up a little bit. There we go. There we go. Got to get straight. Got to let everybody know who I represent. Now, who our President Trump is our man. He is our leader. And I had the good fortune a few weeks ago. I attended 5 Trump events, 4 with the president himself and 1 with Donald Jr., and they were all fantastic. And I just met so many wonderful people. And then I went downtown Boise the other day. That we had a big rally at the Capitol at 12 noon, and I made some videos. And some of you may have already seen some of them. And I've had some questions about, hey Steve, who was that crazy Democrat woman that you were cussing out? And you guys that watch my videos, I very seldom use the F word, right? But I kind of used it on Saturday, and I apologize for it if it offended anybody, but let me show you what happened. Now, I have to admit, I was taunting the demon rats because I kind of did something funny. I was on the side with all the patriots. It was like all the patriots and Trump supporters were on one side of the street, and all the demons and the Biden supporters were on the other. So I kind of worked my way down the patriot line. I told everybody, I said, hey, get your cameras ready because I'm going to go across the street and I'm going to taunt those demons and, see what goes on. But you'll get some good video footage. And I had this flag right here, Trump 2020. And so I had my flag in one hand and I had my camera in the other. So I was videotaping a lot of this. And what happened was I was behind these Biden people and I was kind of, putting my flag above them. And this one big old fat, ugly freakazoid turned around, and just lunged at me. Before she did, she said, don't you get near me. Don't you get near me. She lunged at me. She knocked my Trump flag out of my hand. And I was filming all this, but I think my camera probably went down and you may have seen the Trump flag. I haven't even looked at the damn video, to be honest with you. I very seldom go back and ever look at my videos, maybe once in a blue moon. I figure I know what I said, and what I said, it is what it is. And when you make these videos, they're out there forever. And so it's all good. So, but a lot of people commended me. There may have been some people who got offended. I don't know. You can't please everybody. So you got to please yourself, right? But listen, there's been so much confusion and stuff about what's going on, and I've had people contact me, Steve, tell us what's happening, man. This shit is crazy. So I thought I'd take a little bit of time. It's about 3 o'clock Monday afternoon out here in Boise. Like I said, it's a beautiful sunny day. It's cold. I just came from the DMV where I had to take care of a situation with my license plate, and I had to stand outside. Now, this is all because of COVID-19, still say. And you got to have a mask when you go out in there, But I stood in the line without a mask for about a half hour in the freezing cold, and I finally got inside, and it was at least another half hour inside before I was able to address my situation. So I'm currently waiting on a call from the DMV. And if that call comes in while I hesitated. I was going to wait and do the video after the call came, but I have no guarantees that I'm going to get a call today. It may be tomorrow. It may be, I don't know. But if I do get the call, I'm probably going to have to take it and stop the video. And then I'll decide whether I want to start it all over or whether I want to go ahead and publish what I've got and then pick up, with a second video, part 2 or whatever. But look, I was trying to think back in time. The benefit of being older, I'm 64 going on 20, but being at my age, I've got a memory. I got a pretty good memory, but I've got history. I've seen and lived through different presidents, where I was in the military. And I was thinking, who were the presidents when I was in the military? Well, obviously Reagan. Reagan had just come into office, but then I thought, now wait a minute, that's when I went in as a lieutenant, but what about when I was enlisted? And you're not going to believe this, but I've served in the military under a hell of a lot more presidents than I even imagined. And it goes back to when I went to boot camp at Parris Island in June of '74. Would you believe Richard Nixon was the president? And then while I was at boot camp, he resigned, I think. And then the president was Gerald Ford, okay? But before I even got out of the enlisted ranks, what's his name? Carter. So it was Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter, and then Reagan. And Reagan, I came back in the military in '83 as a lieutenant. And it's like, oh my God. And then after Reagan, there was George W. I was in the Gulf War under that nut job. And then after George, okay, but this is where I want to start the story. And then I was in the Clintons, okay. Oh my God, I was in the military at some point in time, all through those presidents, starting with Richard Nixon, all the way through to the Clintons. And, and George Bush. Yeah, holy shit. George Bush took a, well, let's see. He was, the hanging chads. Remember the big issue down in Florida with the hanging chads? That thing took about, 4 months to resolve? So these damn demon rats now that have decided, along with their Mockingbird fake news media 7 outlets to include Fox News, they have decided among their communist selves that Joe Biden is going to be the next president. Not so fast, cowboys. Not so freaking fast, because it ain't. Listen, let me tell you, look, I know people like good news, right? All of you watching this, you like good news. And by the way, this is a shirt I was wearing when I was taunting the Democrats the other day. But anyway, everybody wants good news. So let me give you the good news first. Donald J. Trump is our president and will remain our president at the inauguration in 2021. That's the good news, okay? The bad news is these demons are going to give it, this is their last shot. They are going to give it everything they've got to try to pull off this heist, but it's not going to happen. And all you got to do is go back and look at those videos I shot in Boise the other day. I'm going to post all of them down below in the description tag. If you haven't seen them, watch them. They will motivate you and they will give you a sampling of the people of Idaho and how resilient and resolved we are to see this voter fraud come to an end. But I was thinking in my mind, how can I share, what can I explain to y'all that I have knowledge of that maybe you don't? But when I provide you with this knowledge, you'll have a greater understanding and you'll start to connect a lot more dots and you'll go, oh my God, I see now how this shit all worked together. Okay? And in order to do that, let's go back to Reagan. I told you, okay, I served under Reagan, and then Reagan, he does his 8 years, and then in comes George H.W. Pappy Bush, right? And it didn't take too long for him to get us into the Gulf War, the Desert Shield, and then it became Desert Storm. Well, I got over there in August of 90, and I was there until beginning of June 91. So I had a great opportunity to not only go through the war experience, but to observe the Saudi Arabian culture, the Muslims, and I learned a lot, man. I've learned a lot everywhere I've gone. And so, years later, you look back, you have the vantage point of being able to look back in time and say, oh my God, now I get it. Now I see the big picture. Well, what I want to do here in this short video is give you a glimpse of the past. So let's go back to 1980. Let's go back to 80. In 1980, President Reagan took office. You remember the Iranian hostage crisis. Our American citizens had been held hostage in Iran for over a year, right at a year. President Reagan comes on. He had back channel, worked a deal with Iran. They released our American citizens. So President Ronald Reagan started off his presidency with a big bang. He was the favorite of the people. Remember when he won his second election, it was like a red tsunami. He won by a big, big landslide. So President Reagan was a very, very popular president. George H.W. Bush comes on the scene, not so much a case. That's why he only got one term. He was then quickly voted out by the Clintons. But here's where the magic begins. He really wasn't voted out by the Clintons because the Bush crime syndicate was at the time led by George Pappy Bush, the president. Remember, he had been the director of the the CIA. And he was also a major player in the assassination of John F. Kennedy. And without getting into great detail about that, he was rewarded years later because of his wonderful work in Dallas to the position of director of the CIA. Friends, this cabal, this shadow government, this globalist deep state has been in operation for many years. And you might say it really started with the assassination of JFK, but it goes much further back than that, okay? But then, you see Pappy Bush, he gets us solidly into the Middle East. We take over, we kick Saddam Hussein out of Kuwait. We're the heroes. And then Bush Sr. has one term. Well, right after he got out of office, he was instrumental, along with his former Secretary of State, Baker, they formed an organization called the Carlyle Group. Now, the Carlyle Group was deeply, deeply funded by one international criminal by the name of George Soros. All you have to do, if you see international unrest, you can just about guarantee that somehow, some way, George Soros money is involved in it. If there is a devil incarnate, his AKA George Soros. You hear what I'm saying? So anyway, so you got Pappy Bush, big George Soros money. You got James Baker. You got Colin Powell. One by one, you start to see these demons join this Carlyle Group. Well, the Carlyle Group has been extremely active through the years, and they've continued to have new join their ranks, like Jeb Bush, of course. Now, let me explain this to you real quick, because this will make some sense to you. If you haven't seen the movie called American Made with Tom Cruise, you got to see it. When I started watching that movie, I couldn't believe. I said, how in the hell did these folks in Hollywood pull off? This movie is so real to life, it's not funny. But let me explain to you how it worked. So because of George Pappy Bush's connections to the CIA all through the years, when he was Ronald Reagan's vice president, and by the way, yes, that was an assassination attempt led by none other than George Pappy Bush on President Reagan, but it was a foiled attempt. It didn't work properly. And so the vice president, George H.W. Bush, got a little egg on his face, and he was brought in line, but then he quickly became the successor to Ronald Reagan for one term. But then the American people, now there was voter fraud going on back then, but nothing to the degree that it is today. But anyway, so after George W. left, he started this Carlyle Group. Just suffice it to say that it is an international group of demons. It's a mafia. It's a criminal syndicate. And they were deeply involved in the 9/11 inside-outside job. And I say that because it was the U.S. that did all of the planning for the 9/11-2001 event. All you got to do is look at the Project for the New American Century. Remember that. Go to YouTube and type in Project for the New American Century. Look at who signed that program. Just look at the signees and you'll know those were the same planners of the 9/11 event. Saudi Arabia was the big money. They paid for all the demolitions of Towers 1 and 2, and then, of course, number 7. Building number 7, the smoking gun, implodes into its own footprint at 5:30 in the afternoon of 9/11, never touched by a plane, never touched by any debris, but miraculously a 47-story steel reinforced building implodes into its own footprint and faster than free fall speed at 5:30 in the afternoon. Now you tell me how in the hell that happened. And while you're at it, tell me where the plane was in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. There never was a plane in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, friends. That's what the fake news media convinced you of. Do your deep dive, do your digging, do your research. I can tell you this, when I met Richard Gage, the president of Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth, when I met him at the second Red Pill Expo in Washington, over in, I can't think of the name of it. It was over in the eastern part of Washington. He told me he watched my videos because he had heard me talking about 9/11. I will claim that I do know probably more about the events of 9/11 than most because I've been studying it deeply for 20 years. You know what I mean? And when you spend that much time researching something, surely you're going to pick up some knowledge and information that other people don't have. Like, yes, I know Mitt Romney joined the Carlyle Group. Anybody that joins the Carlyle Group has sold their soul to the devil. And it was real nice to see that Mitt Romney and Jeb Bush were two of the first neocon traitor Republican never Trumpers, because he's on to their game. See, he's on to the game of the Bushes. Remember the funeral of Pappy Bush when George W. and Jeb were both handed a card? Remember that? Some of you still don't know what was on that card, do you? Well, I'll tell you, it said, "You're next." That's what it said. It just simply said, "You're next." Do you really think the Bush crime syndicate that started the big push to build up communist China, how the hell do you think the totally backward agrarian China, the bombed out China at the end of World War II, regained so much prominence so quickly and became the superpower that they are? I'll tell you how. Because they've been all the secrets of our nuclear program, uranium, you name it, everything has been sold to both the Soviets and the Chinese. Well, the Soviets haven't had anything from the demons in quite a while, since they decided, since Hillary and those that did all the Russian collusion and all the selling of uranium yellow cake. Friends, remember that it was Mueller. It was James Mueller, who was the FBI director, who, at the order of Hillary Clinton, who was then Secretary of State, ordered him to take a package of yellow cake uranium and fly in a private jet to Moscow and hand deliver it to Vladimir Putin on the tarmac. Oh, you didn't hear that story, did you? Yeah, all right. Okay. And look, these demons are so shallow, they think they're going to steal this election from our duly appointed president, and that they're going to allow this communist takeover of America. No, not on my watch, not on your watch. So that's why I wanted to pass on that good news. At first, to let you know that President Trump will be our president well into for the next 4 years, okay? And the demons are going to come unglued. And I've been telling all of you for the longest time now, prepare yourself for what's going to come. But all of the 7 news networks, as fake as they may be, they have absolutely no right to call elections. The courts of the United States Constitution will call this election. Now, we know that these demons sent out 80 million ballots, okay? 80 million illegal ballots. Most of us went to sleep on election night feeling good because Trump was leading everywhere. We wake up the next morning and Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin, hundreds of thousands of ballots came in as we slept, many of them with Chinese markings on the outside of the... I mean, this is blatant, in-your-face fraud. And if you think for a second that we, the people, those of us who fought in foreign wars to protect the Constitution, and we held our hand up to the oath and swore an allegiance to protect the Constitution and the United States and the president against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Well, a lot of us veterans have protected against the foreign, and you think we're not going to protect against the domestic? Bullshit. You know, we're not going to lay down and let this happen. So, gain your faith, friends. Renew your conviction to the cause and understand that these demons want to destroy all small businesses. They want there only to be like Amazon, big corporate international takeover, because they're the big funders of BLM and Antifa, and they want the lockdown because when you're sitting at home locked down with your mask, you can get on the computer or you can get on the phone and place an order to Amazon or one of the other. They want to do away, they want to destroy America. Don't you understand? And last Friday night, it was Fox News that canceled Judge Jeanine Pirro to carry the Biden celebration. There was nobody at the celebration. They were sitting in their cars, all 10 of them. This is a ruse. This is like a Hollywood, this is an attempted Hollywood production to absolutely deceive the people of America and the world. You got all these dumbass leaders of foreign countries calling in to congratulate Biden on his victory. Are you kidding me? Come on, man. Don't be that stupid. Now, I got to tell you, let me go back and finish this. So after okay, let's go back. So the international drug trade is ran by rogue elements of the CIA. That filtered down from the days of Pappy Bush being director of the CIA. Well, he turned the full running of the cocaine trade primarily over to youngest son, Jeb. And so Jeb pretty much ran the cocaine trade with the CIA all during his time in college. And then they found somebody to take it over, and that would have been Bill and Hillary Clinton. And they ran during the time, the 8 years that Clinton was governor, they were running this CIA drug operation out of Medina, Arkansas. That's why I want you to watch that movie, American Made. It is a very, very good portrayal of what really happened, because I was on active duty tracking all that stuff. I knew all about what was going on with the drug trade and the CIA involvement and stuff. It's crazy. I've lived in a lot of ways like damn Forrest Gump, you know. I've been in these right places at the right time. You know, some may say you were in the wrong place. No, hell no. I wasn't in the wrong place. You know, but I picked up a lot of knowledge, and some people find it interesting when I tell these true stories about things that I've witnessed in my own life. But I'll tell you one thing, I'm witnessing something right now, the likes of which I couldn't have even attempted to fabricate in my wildest, well, maybe. Maybe I could have written a novel or something, but nobody would believe it. It's like people always telling me I should write a book about my life. I said, shit. If I do, nobody would believe it. They would call it a damn novel. They would say, you know, some figment of somebody's imagination or something. Yeah, all right, well, whatever. I don't care. I ain't out to win no damn popularity contest. You know, I ain't out to do nothing except tell the damn truth, to cut through all the bullshit and the minutia and give you some damn gold nuggets, some knowledge that you can take to the bank. But what if I said, for all you newcomers, you need to understand this. I tell my viewers, I say, listen, just let's keep this shit clean, right? Let's keep it on an even keel. What do you say? I do the talking. I tell you what I got to say. You take it with a grain of salt. Don't believe nothing I say if you want to. But if I say something that it strikes your fancy, you might want to take some notes. You might want to go do your own due diligence and research. But let's go. So anyway, so the Clintons ran the CIA drug operation, and then they were rewarded with the presidency. So George H.W. Bush, he was head of the crime syndicate at that time, he awarded the Clintons the presidency. Oh shit, that's the way it's worked. That's the way it's worked for years, ever since Reagan. Don't you know? And Hillary was the next in line. Hillary has never accepted the fact that she got her ass beat. She still claims she got the majority of the popular vote. That's total bullshit. No, she didn't. She did. And now that Biden, well, listen to the audacity. Biden comes out and says he received more popular votes than any president in history. Bull freaking pooey. No, he did not. This is a complete voter fraud. President Trump, on the other hand, received the most popular votes in the history of any president. Do you understand? So for Friday night, I mean, when was it? Tuesday night, or when? I don't know. I don't know the date. Was it Wednesday? I think it was last Wednesday when Fox came out and declared Biden the winner. Well, let me tell you, Fox is in on the fraud, on the fraud. They are in on it to declare, that Biden is the president-elect. No. And now, oh God, the Atlantic came out recently and said, oh, you know that when Joe Biden fondles your child, that's a Christ-like, he's showing Christ-like love. Are you kidding me? So pedophile Joe Biden, when he fondles children, he's showing Christ-like love. He and the damn Pope sounds like have been talking. And to have the gumption to bring that freaking Hunter Biden up on stage the other night at his little fake victory celebration? Friends, look, this has gone too damn far. Oh, and Hunter had a baby in his arms? Come on, man. Come on, man. Listen, they're using the COVID-19, which is nothing more than a common cold. So help me God, I've talked to the top scientist in the world. Yes, I have. Steve Motley. I've talked to one of the top virologists in the freaking world with 2 double degrees from MIT. You hear what I'm saying? So you believe whatever the hell you want to believe. You keep wearing your dumbass face diaper. But this is part of their plan. The big problem was we the people woke up to it. We realized, listen, I'm going to give President Trump a piece of advice here that you folks up there that watch these videos, you better get this to him ASAP. Do you understand? President Trump needs to come out the very first thing, because everything they're doing right now, this so-called election of Biden, is centers around COVID-19. He has blatantly come out while he was campaigning saying, yes, hell yes, we're going to lock down. We're going to create a mandate that you absolutely must wear a mask. He is the head of the globalists to destroy America, bring it to its knees, roll in the UN to take over all of the, peacekeeping of America until they can create the new world order. Hell no, that is not going to happen. But that is what they are attempting to do. And he even said in one of his dementia-induced speeches, he said, we have put together the most extensive voter fraud program ever seen, just like the one we did for Barack Obama. He openly admitted that it was fraud that got Obama elected, and it's the fraud that's going to get him elected. He told his people, don't worry about voting for me, just support me once I'm elected. They thought, once again, just like Hillary Clinton, when the night before the election in 2016, they were promised a 98% chance of a Hillary landslide against this fake presidential candidate, Donald J. Trump. And they have been crying and they've been pissed off ever since. But what we're seeing in this election is we got dead people voting numerous times. We got Sharpie markers blurring out votes. We've got machines in 30 states flipping votes from President Trump to Joe Biden. And they are ready. Biden has already, well, he ain't done shit. But Dr. Fauci and Birxie and the CDC freakzoids and the WHO, they have put together for the president-elect Joe Biden a COVID-19 task force that they are going to attempt to speak to the president about, where they're going to offer him they're going to tell him, if you concede and sign the COVID-19 bill that immediately locks down the country again, we will help protect your legacy. We will make sure that nobody talks bad about you. Well, I don't think our president's going to let those dumbasses anywhere near the White House to hear their proposals. He's not stupid. Excuse me a second. I know, I shouldn't be drinking this shit, but have you heard of Royal Crown Cola? It's a cola of the South, I guess. Only thing I'm missing is a moon pie. Any of you out there know what a moon pie is? Because once you've had one, you'll never forget them. They are wonderful. Love my moon pies. But anyway, that's a subject for another day. Here on this Retired Marine Sounds Off channel, we talk about a lot of things. I'm not just a one-trick pony. I do not talk only about politics and current events. And sometimes, you might hear something that comes out of my mouth that might change your world forever. And isn't that what we're all trying to do? Aren't we trying to get a little better each day? I liken it unto shaving. If you don't want to have a damn beard, if you're a guy and you're at least manly enough to grow a little bit of facial hair. When I was in Saudi Arabia, the Saudis told me, they said, you should grow a mustache. And I said, why should I do that? And they said, well, in the Saudi culture, men without facial hair, they're not real men, I said, oh, really? He said, yeah. And I worked with a bunch of these Saudis and stuff. And so I grew me a mustache. And, over there, the Marine Corps hair regulations were really lax. And, I had, at one point over there, I had really, longer hair. Longer than it is now, you know what I mean? And I was starting a Fu Manchu. And we wore sunglasses everywhere. I think that's why I like wearing sunglasses. I think I wore my damn sunglasses constantly in that desert over there during the Gulf War. And I ever since, I've worn my damn shades. I'm just a shades kind of guy. And then when I came down with that damn type 2 diabetes, you know what? I just realized I'm shooting this damn video here without any of my big artificial lights, and that's pretty cool because I've still got that sunlight shining through. Let the sun shine. Anyway, but I'm glad I can be with y'all today, friends, and share a little information with you, because you need to know some of this stuff. Because if Biden were by some hook or crook able to cheat the world or cheat the America, well, oh yeah, hell yeah, he'd be cheating the world. Look at what President Trump has done over in the Middle East. All of these nominations for the Nobel Peace Prize for his work in bringing peace to so many of those countries. And what they're right now lining up to join in on the peace train. The peace train. Yeah. Get all aboard, join in on the love train. Love train. Y'all remember that, you old folks. You remember the love train. You remember Soul Train. Came on every Saturday back before we had computers. You could count on Soul Train and American Bandstand. Yes, sir. Every Saturday, all you crazy teenagers were out there dancing in front of the TV. I know I was. Hell yeah, I'll still be dancing every now and then, but not stupid like old Kamala Harris. What kind of stupid ass dance is that? Yeah, y'all. I'm going to be the president of the United States, y'all. We're going to give it all them guns. Oh, yeah, we're going to vaccinate everybody. Ooh, yeah, we're going to rehabilitate the patriots. And if they don't rehabilitate, we're going to send them to the FEMA camp. And we're going to cut their head off on the guillotine. Ooh, I'm going to be the president soon, Cole. We're going to make sure Sleepy Joe dies in his sleep. You know what I'm saying? Because I was destined to be the president all along, y'all. Because I'm black. She ain't black. Her mother was Indian. Her damn daddy was Jamaican. Don't let her fool you. She ain't black. Shit, I'm more... My great-grandma was black on my mama's side. I'm probably more black than Kamala Harris. Shit, I ought to run for president. Could I run for president as a black man with my great-great-grandma being black? I hope so. Let me know if I can. But anyway, friends, listen. These demons up in D.C., they've been surrounding the Trump Hotel. They've been, they're surrounding the White House. The military had to build a barricade around the White House, but the demons are hell-bent on removing our president from that sacred facility. I don't think it's going to happen, but I can assure you there are contingency plans to keep our president-elect, Donald J. Trump, safe and secure. BLM is now heating up. They're going around beating up leftists, beating up Democrats. The ultimate goal is to create a shooting civil war, which I can assure you once President Trump is announced and certified officially as being our next president, the Democrats are going to go absolutely berserk. I think you can count on that. So I'm just telling everybody to be safe out there. Now, Alex Jones and the InfoWars crew are putting together a caravan that leaves this afternoon from Austin, Texas, is going to make its way across the country through Florida, up to Tallahassee, and then on up into Atlanta, and then across the Carolinas, and eventually arriving on Friday in Washington, D.C. Apparently, Alex Jones and the rest of the crew are going to fly back east and meet Owen Schroyer and his guys in the armored vehicle. And they're going to be part of this cavalry that it's making its way to D.C. Now, I had decided I was going to go. And I was gearing up to leave today. And I pulled up the map of the United States. And I couldn't believe all the snow that I would have to get through. And then once I got through the snow, I would have to contend with torrential rain downfalls because of this Hurricane Eta that's coming up through Florida, raising all crazy hell. Now, you know me, I like research, right? So once I saw that, I said, now wait a minute. I'm not a meteorologist or anything like that, never claimed to be, but I do understand HAARP. I understand weather modification and weather wars. I've been telling y'all about this stuff for years now. So this is not new information for many of you, but for some, it may be. As I was doing more research today, I found some articles that said this is the strangest weather patterns that we have ever seen since we started recording weather in the United States. And I mean, I can't. I don't want to go into the details of it. But if you have that sort of inclination about the weather, I would encourage you to do some research on this, because I can tell you weather modification is being used to the max. Florida is being punished for supporting Donald J. Trump. I told y'all I went to all those rallies. I saw it. I saw the thousands and thousands and thousands of people that couldn't get in to many areas because there wasn't enough space, and overflow, if you will. But President Trump did what he could. He put big Supertron screens up. No, I don't have COVID. COVID is bullshit. Listen, they called this before the election. They told us step by step what they were going to do. They said on the night of the election, the Trump people will claim that it's a Trump tsunami. It's a landslide. We are calling that the red mirage. It is an illusion. It's not real. When all of the ballots come in, the Democrats said the world will then discover that Joe, creepy, freaky, pedo Joe, has won by a landslide. Now, there have been different estimates. I've heard 600 million and I've heard 800 million. Do you hear what I'm saying? Ballots were mailed out. The population of America is, last count, I'm going to say 330 million. It can't be too many more or less than 330 million. And these demons mailed out 800 million ballots? What? What the hell is going on here? And then they use the software. Oh, listen, let's go back. I got to connect a dot for you. So remember the Carlyle Group that I told you George Pappy Bush created, this international business organization? They were deeply involved in 9/11 because their goal was to do exactly what we did. You blame 9/11 on a, let's see, let's pick out one of our terrorists. Well, since the CIA backed and created Saddam Hussein and his Ba'ath Party, which put him in charge of as the dictator of Iraq, okay, let's put him on the list. But now, wait a minute. We've got one of our best CIA operatives down in Afghanistan. His name is Osama bin Laden. You see, in 1980, when Ronald Reagan became president of the United States, the Russians decided at the same time to invade Afghanistan. Okay? And how well do I know that? Because I had an all expenses paid trip from the USA to Switzerland and then to Moscow to attend the Moscow Olympics the summer of 1980 with my friends from Switzerland, where I had just come from a 2-year mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That's right, friends. I was born no, I wasn't born. My parents joined the Mormon church when I was 6 years old. And I had great parents, wonderful grandparents, and so on, really tight-knit family. So what am I going to do, buck the system? Am I going to come out and say I don't believe in the Mormon theology? Hell no. I went with the flow, man, just like every one of you would do. And then 40 years later, after I had retired from the military, I'm in my room one day, I'm in the bathroom one day, looking in the mirror, and I took a deep look. I looked real deep in that mirror, and I said, Steve, I said, what the hell are you doing, man? I said, why do you do the things that you do? And then I started thinking back in time, and I said, wait a minute. Because I was taught things at Grove Park Elementary School. I was taught things at Robert E. Lee Junior High School. I was taught things at Hargrave Military Academy. I was taught things at George Washington High School. Then I went in the Marine Corps for 3 years. I was taught things there. Paris Island, baby, welcome. Come on, let's take that young cocky dude and turn him into something. The Marine Corps has been like my surrogate parent. I owe much of who and what I am to the United States Marine Corps. And I didn't get enough. After that enlisted tour, I decided to go back as an officer. Had a career in the Marine Corps. I loved it. I miss it. Might get back in. You never know. Stranger things have happened. I'm working on it. But it was a great time to be alive. It still is. Friends, what we're going through right now is the best of times and the worst of times. But we are living through something that, I don't care what age you are, especially you young people. You're going to want to tell your kid, I got to turn some lights on. It's getting a little too dark. You're going to want to tell your kids about these times, man. Hold on a minute. I got to turn some lights on over here. Don't nobody go away. I'll be right back. I just got to get some light on this thing. Y'all know how I love that light. There's an old saying that says, there are many who are kept from the truth because they know not where to find it. Therefore, we should waste and wear out our lives in bringing to pass or bringing to light the hidden things of darkness. Now, doesn't this video look a hell of a lot better with all that? I got these studio type lights, You see why I ain't gonna mess with that. Every time I mess with it, the damn thing falls over or something. But anyway, one of these days, my goal is to have my own studio. I would love to go out here in Meridian or Boise and find me about 1,000, maybe 1,500 square feet of vanilla shell. I know you contractors out there know what a vanilla shell is, friends. It's, when you go to one of these malls and, they build a mall and you'll see an area for lease, and there's nothing been done to it. All it is you look through the window, you see the concrete. So what you do, you come up with your draft and your blueprint, and then you find your construction guys to come in, your concrete people. They're going to, bust the concrete so you can have a toilet in the back. You probably might want to have a washer and a dryer or something, like I had in one of my businesses once upon a time. But I would really like to have a situation where I could go in and set up an actual, not so much like InfoWars, but to have that kind of graphics behind me. Now I got a friend in California. His name is Chris Shine. Chris, how you doing, my brother? I know you still watch my videos. I hope you've figured out that my main channel got shut down for a bit. I'm shooting these videos on my alternative channel, and I'm hoping the word's getting around. It looks like I'm getting, but now I'm getting hundreds of views, as on my other channel I was getting thousands. So I'm anxious to get going again on my other channel, but at the same time I'm looking at some different options to, y'all know about Brighteon. That's a alternative video site created by Mike Adams. But one thing he's also created Brighteon.social. and that's supposed to be a Facebook replacement. And I joined it the other day, and I really, really like it. And I'm sure many of you have already joined Parler. You know, if you haven't, if you're a patriot and you're watching this and you're on the internet and you haven't joined Parler for free yet, y'all know Dan Bongino, right? Well, he's heavily invested into Parler, and Parler's a big group of patriots. You know, you're not going to be censored there like on Twitter. So if you get over there to Parler, look me up at Steve Motley, just like at Twitter. Now, I'm still on Twitter. I'm not going to quit. You know, I got 75,000 people. I think I'd be kind of stupid to quit. But look, I got to tell you about the damn Carlyle Group. We know Soros gave, when they first started, he gave them $100 million. And they became a real tight-knit group of criminals. And, you know, the Bushes, the Clintons, the Obamas, Mitt Romney is part of it. So what they did, they were behind the 9/11 fiasco. And then when we sent the troops to Afghanistan, we didn't plan to do much with Afghanistan, but we wanted to get into that oil money in Iraq. Not we, but the Republicans and the deep state. So what they did, they very quickly turned their attention from attacking Afghanistan and tracking down Osama bin Laden. Because don't forget, I jumped off of that, but Osama bin Laden was hired by the CIA, and it was the CIA that gave him, who was at the time, he was the leader of the Mujahideen freedom fighters. So here we go. 1980, the Russians invade Afghanistan. The wonderful Mujahideen Afghan freedom fighters started fighting the Russians. The U.S., who hates the Russians, start giving Stinger missiles and all sorts of arms to the leader of the Mujahideen, who was who? Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Laden and Saddam Hussein were on the payroll of the CIA. We create our own enemies, or at least that's what the demons have been doing. But when President Trump starts his second term, he's going to do, I think, thank God he fired Mark Esper, the Secretary of Defense, today, and he brought in a acting Secretary of Defense, Christopher, who's a great guy. No, this is not Christopher Wray, who should be the very next one fired. Then Gina Haspel, and then A.G. Barr. You know, friends, I just never accepted Barr. I knew he was a globalist all along. Listen, he's a Bush crime family person. He's probably, I don't know this for a fact, but I would imagine he's a member of the Carlyle Group. But the game plan for the Carlyle Group was to destroy Iraq, you know, through the Blitzkrieg. And you remember when we attacked Saddam Hussein, shock and awe on Iraq? Well, the game plan was once we took over Iraq, you know, all these big companies like Halliburton. Remember, Dick Cheney had been president of Halliburton before he became vice president. And he ran that presidency. Junior just stayed back in the room and smoked his Alabama Kush. He didn't know what the hell was going on half the time. Dick Cheney was the president. Him and his little side buddies. You know, I mean, it's a joke. But they got us into that war for money because Halliburton, Brown and Root, Bechtel, all these big government-owned, deep state-owned companies were going to go into Iraq and rebuild it from scratch. But guess what? They didn't anticipate the Iranian insurgents. You remember that little thing called Al-Qaeda that we also created? Oh, shit. Listen, if there's anybody out there right now, here in November 2020, watching this video that does not understand that ISIS was created by Senator John McCain, probably the worst, most crooked senator of all time. Oh yeah, guess who used to run around with McCain to Ukraine and places like that all the time? Lindsey Graham. Oh, wonderful Lindsey Graham, who won his Senate seat again from the great state of South Carolina. Congratulations, Lindsey. But anyway, Lindsey, we know, had been blackmailed. And President Trump found out about it, and he took care of the blackmail. And so Lindsey has quasi been showing his allegiance to the president, but he still got a long way to go. You know, friends, how do you really defeat your enemy? You know, you get them out in the open. You get them out so you can see them. Let me just tell y'all something. What you're witnessing right now with this election fraud, it was well anticipated by the good guys. The alliance knew what they would. They told us. The one thing about criminals, they love to boast and brag. We had Nancy Pelosi and Schumer and just, Schiff, all of them coming out and saying, this is once again Russia, Russia, Russia. They are involved in this. They've been rigging the machines. No. In 30 states, we were using the same software, the same machines that were put into place by none other than, can you guess? That's right, the Carlyle Group. The Carlyle Group, who every one of them are supporting the presidency of Biden. They can't stand Trump because they're neocon Republicans. And just like Romney and Jeb Bush were two of the first to come out and congratulate, they're going to play this act to the T. And during times of adversary, which it appears that we are going through, but it's not real. It's a fabricated illusion on the part of the general genius, the 4D chess guy, to make it look like, things are not as, just trust me, things are not as they seem. We know that military mail-in ballots were burned, hundreds of thousands of ballots showing up for only Joe Biden in the middle of the nights. Oh, in just the swing states? In only the states where it's questionable? Oh, you mean that there were 30 states where as many as 6,000 votes for President Trump were flipped to Biden? Are you kidding me? No, we know what's going on. And you've got the UK Minister of Defense coming out yesterday and declaring that the lockdowns, the continual lockdowns, is going to create a potential World War III. Okay? And with the lockdowns come the contact tracers, come the vaccine, the mandatory vaccines. No. What you're witnessing here, friends, is a projected victory on the part of the dark side, of the broken Democratic Party trying to be saved by the 7 major fake news outlets. No, friends, we the people are wise to this. Boycott Fox News. Watch Tucker Carlson on the YouTube or somewhere where somebody's copied it. But this is a complete takeover, an attempt. This is a complete attempted takeover coup by the Chinese communist-backed Democrats. When President Trump comes in, he needs to completely abolish the DOJ, the FBI, and the CIA remove everybody and start from scratch. I don't care how many good guys and gals there are there currently. Put them on paid leave or something and designate certain ones that you absolutely know have been properly vetted, and then start all over again. That's the only thing that's going to solve this problem. The deep state has to be removed in its entirety. So I love the move by our president today in getting rid of Mark Esper. I would like to see a replacement of the Joint Chiefs of Staff as well. And I think we might see that, but there's others that need to go first. And what they're doing right now is Biden is putting together this COVID-19 task force, and they're going to demand that President Trump adopt it immediately, or else he's going to be blamed for thousands and thousands of more deaths, in addition to the ones that the American public have already blamed him for. Pure poppycock, pure deceit, delusion, total lies, okay? Biden says he's going to issue a national mandate, to, like I said, to wear the mask, to lock down. He will blame Trump, for any deaths that start to occur. I say everybody should stop immediately being tested. Why in the hell would you subject yourself to a COVID-19 test? When I pulled into the VA today, I had an appointment. This was just a general checkup, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. It was amazing. But as I came to the VA, I started seeing these COVID-19 testing signs all over the place. Just like vaccine. Get your vaccine today. And, I'm thinking okay, right, if they demand that I get a vaccine, or they demand that I take a COVID-19 test, I'm just going to have to go somewhere else for my medical care, because I'm not going to subject my body to none of that bullshit, So I would say we need to all exercise a little civil disobedience. Don't take the damn test unless you're sick. Well, don't take the test, period. It's bullshit. It's total bullshit. They're false positives. This is what they're using. They're going to use the increase in cases to lock down the country again and utterly destroy the economy, blame it on Trump. No. We're not falling for that trap. This is a push by big pharma, the whole virus, the medical community. It's a takeover. It's the UN. It's all backed by the UN globalists. And what President Trump absolutely must do tonight, no later than tomorrow, is come out in the Oval Office and say, friends, we need to talk. And go ahead and lay out the truth about COVID, fire Fauci and Birxie and all those others right there on the screen. Tell the world they're fired. They should be arrested for treason. We'll have to see how that works out. But they are deeply involved in the Wuhan lab. Fauci himself gave money when they moved it from Chapel Hill, North Carolina, to University of North Carolina. They moved it to Wuhan. They purposely released the bioweapon on the world to do exactly what you're witnessing them do right now as we speak. You got Ocasio-Cortez creating a truth and reconciliation team to take all the Trump supporters down, to try to educate them as best they can. But if they're not educatable, they go to the FEMA camp. And you know what happens once you get in there. Okay? I'm not going to a FEMA camp. You're not going to a FEMA camp. You know what I'm saying? None of us are going to a FEMA camp. Okay? I hope you understand. All right. Now, because of what we've got. The Constitution affords all of us to have the right to own and bear arms. It's called the Second Amendment. We're not going to allow Kamala Harris to sit. Can you imagine how many people would be killed if agents were sent door to door to confiscate our weapons? It would be like the lifespan of a gun confiscator could not be very long. Americans are not going to give up their guns, friends. That ain't good. That's not in the future, okay? But once President Trump does get reelected, I do believe he's going to do as I've suggested over and over, and that is get us out of the UN and get the UN out of the U.S. That almost has to be done. That's a communist front organization. It has been since its inception. He needs to also pull us immediately out of NATO. Screw NATO. NATO has done nothing for us. Russia, Putin and Trump are friends. If y'all don't know that by now, and no, there was no Russian collusion, but Russia is a superpower, and we need to get along. The globalists, the deep state hates Russia, hence they get the blame for everything. Russia is the enemy of the deep state. Russia is the friend of President Donald Trump and all of the deplorables. Do you understand? Whether you believe all this or not, it's true. 20% of the U.S. population did not vote. However, this ended up being the biggest voter turnout in U.S. history. And, of course, like I said before, it was the biggest landslide for any president. And there, the demons are saying that they were the recipients of that honor. Now, if you allow Biden to steal this election, you will have no more fracking, you'll have lockdowns, you'll have checkpoints, you'll have permanent masks, you'll have guns, you'll have truth and reconciliation committees. Now, President Trump needs to start with COVID-19, tell everybody to just take off the damn mask. It's done. Go back to life as normal. No more freaking testing. It's all bullshit. It was designed to take us down. They almost succeeded. And then surrounding President Trump, he needs to have hundreds of the top doctors in America who will vouch for him, who will give speeches and tell the world. See, those doctors got silenced by the fake news media. Well, put them on my damn channel. Let me come videotape the event. We'll get it out there to the world. But somebody needs to do that. And we're just not going to accept this. I can tell you now. I've been talking to people all over the country. And, the reason there were so many coup attempts earlier and he beat every one of them was because he couldn't punish the perpetrators of the crimes against him. The James Muellers, the Anthony Rosenstein. Yeah, Rosenstein. All of those criminals. But now, once we get a real Department of Justice headed up by somebody like Sidney Powell, once we start getting the right people in the right places, like we did with Amy Coney Bryan, we need a couple more Supreme Court judges of her ilk. But God wins, friends. We knew the outcome, but we were still forced to listen to these fake news media outlets declare Joe Biden the victor. No, Fox News. We're not going to allow a president to come in that's owned lock, stock, and barrel by the Chinese communists. You don't really think that. But yes, the Carlyle Group owns the machines that have been flipping votes in over 30 states. There's going to either have to be a complete re-election. President Trump can do an executive order to order the last election completely null and void, do a recount, do a re-election at the precincts only, put the veterans' votes from overseas and the ones from expats, create it so they can be entered on a non-hackable blockchain, and let's get this election done correctly. That would be Plan A. Plan B would do a complete recount, a re-election in all of the questionable states. The states that have been properly called and certified. But see, none of the states that the demons called can be properly certified. They cheated across the board. So why not simplify this? Just have a completely new election. I suggest, I don't know what day this falls on. How about December 5th, December 4th? Somewhere around the beginning of December, let's have a complete re-election. You have to show proper ID. You have to have 2 different verifications that you are who you say you are. Then you cast your vote, and then there will be no question. And there will be poll watchers certified by the GOP, certified by the demons. They can both be there the same distance, observe everything, no problem. That is the only solution to this freaking fiasco. Do you understand? The Democrats are useful idiots. They told us, again, I hate to be so redundant, but they told us in advance, step by step, we're going to declare the Trump landslide a red mirage. It's not real. We've got Supreme Court approval to carry out to continue to count the votes in Pennsylvania for, 12 days? Same thing in North Carolina. Yada, 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 ad freaking nauseum. But anyway, that's the solution. They're cheating. Never in the history of a presidential election have we seen mail-in ballots. They used the COVID-19 BS story to force the ballot issue. President Trump never approved the ballots. But I will tell you this. Let me tell you my one enigma that I'm dealing with. The biggest question for me. After we saw the 2018 midterm elections and the blatant fraud that was perpetrated across the country, and different colleges like Stanford University even proved that there was massive fraud that took place, how is it that we never changed the voting machines? I'll tell you how. Because President Trump has been planning this trap all along. Well, it started before 2018. We knew about the machines that flipped votes, but we were able to catch it in 7 states that Hillary thought were a shoo-in her 2016 election. That's why she was so convinced that she was going to be the winner. But when those tallies started coming in, it was because our people caught the cheat. And we fixed it. But we went ahead this time and let the cheat run its course in every way possible. We've seen dead people voting over and over. We got plenty of proof of that. We've got pictures from all over the country of ballots being burned, being thrown in creeks and rivers, being put in dumpsters. There is no way on God's green earth that the Democrats, those freaking pedophiles, are going to get away with this steal. So all across America, I participated this past weekend in Boise, Idaho, and I'm publishing all 3 of those videos. I think you will enjoy. The first one's about less than an hour long. It's various speakers standing at the podium on the Capitol steps. And it was cold as hell that day, but I was digging every bit of it. And then after the speeches, there was a massive march through downtown Boise out to Front Street, where the Patriots lined the road, flags waving, horns honking, everybody supporting Stop the Steal. These rallies were taking place all across America, 12 noon on Saturday. But the one thing that I did clearly observe was the nastiness, the evil, the demonic presence of the Biden supporters. Oh, they were riding up and down the road yelling, F Trump, F Patriots, we're going to kill you. Shit like that. So anyway, I thought that maybe I would add a little excitement to the crowd. So I kind of worked my way down. I'm taking a video, right? And I told the Patriots, a bunch of these Patriots, the Trump people were lined up on one side of Front Street and the Biden people were on the other side. And I had on a Marine shirt, right? So I thought, hey, I'm just going to go over there and well, that's where I got into the little scuffle with some of them and I dropped my Trump flag. But there's some good videos, so I would encourage you to watch them, share them with your friends, whatever. But friends, we are going to win this. But I want to encourage you all once again to be prepared, for what might happen. Because it's not going to be well received when the dark side finds out that President Trump was the one that won by a landslide and that, he is the legitimate winner. Remember the video when Biden told that group of Council on Foreign Relations people about how he told those people in Ukraine if they didn't remove the prosecutor of his son, he would withhold the $1 billion from Ukraine? We got this on video. Most every one of you have already seen this. But then he says, but I'll be a son of a bitch. They removed the prosecutor. Yeah, how blatant, how arrogant. But remember, criminals love to brag about their criminal activity. And what has Q told us for a long time? He says symbolism will be their downfall. Well, I don't need to tell you. I mean, if you're not aware of the symbolism of the Biden-Harris campaign graphics, then you need to do a little homework. I'm not going to tell you about that. But I'm going to tell you that DOJ has not been very active because A.G. Barr is part of the Bush crime syndicate. He was put in there by the deep state. He hasn't done much, let's put it that way. So President Trump, he's got to go. You got to get somebody like Sidney Powell in there. She was a prosecutor for the DOJ, for God's sake. Somebody like her could straighten that damn place up in a heartbeat. But I wish she was the Holy Ghost. I wanted to be the head of the FBI too. I had the good fortune to interview Sidney Powell in Dallas, Texas, November 2018. It was amazing. I was down there at a John B. Wells rally called Operation Classified. And all these patriots came from around the country to donate money for Lieutenant General Michael Flynn's defense. And that's where I met Sidney Powell. Boy, I'll tell you, he picked the right person, didn't he? When he picked Sidney to be his lawyer. And, I'll tell you, I'm just a big, big Michael Flynn fan. And I'm a Sidney Powell fan. So anyway, God bless America. There's going to be justice. Once President Trump is certified, heads are going to roll, I promise you. The deep state, the swamp is going to be completely drained. I think I mentioned this. I know I was talking to a group of folks on a conference call the other night, but I have certified and verified through 3 different contacts that they say, Steve, I don't know exactly what's going on, but there are regular flights between Andrews and Gitmo, Guantanamo Bay Naval Air Station. I don't know what's going on, but what do you think's going on? I think they are arresting a lot of the low-hanging fruit. They're starting to really drain, they meaning Trump's loyal people, his teams that work for him. Friends, there's a lot of stuff going on y'all don't know about, but it's okay. Just suffice it to say that the Lord is doing the Lord's work, you know. But we're not going to allow this republic to be taken over by a Chinese communist regime. And that's exactly what you're witnessing here. Oh, there's going to be a lot of damn people arrested, friends. This was one of the major, that coup attempt of taking the president down long before he was inaugurated by the Osama or by the Barack Obama regime, him and his lovely bride, Big Mike. How about that? For 8 long years, we thought we had, well, I didn't. Shit, I found out in about 2005, I found out the truth about Michelle and Big Mike in 2005. I had to live with it. You know how I was chomping at the bit to tell the world? But I didn't dare. What am I going to do? I don't even know how I survived maintaining a Facebook account through the Obama administration. I was always, I was telling people I was telling Facebook that, man, it's all good. It's a matter of record. But anyway, I'm being vetted currently by the Trump administration for something. And I know what they're going to find. Nothing. Shit, I had a damn Yankee Zulu clearance at one time. I don't think it'd be too hard to get it back. But friends, listen, we are living in history. We're living through history. I guess that's kind of stupid because history's always being made. So we're always living through history. Let's just say we're living through a very interesting period of time where things have to be done or else we lose our country forever. And I would love to see President Trump tweet out, my fellow patriots, the storm is upon us. God bless America. I sent him a text today and I told him, I said, sir, if you do that, I said, one thing's for sure, the world will find out just how numerous and just how effective that conspiracy theory, determined to be such by the unanimous vote of 319 to 17 in favor, that congressional vote, that House resolution to determine QAnon a hateful conspiracy theory that causes violence in the street. Well, those of you out there watching that know the truth, you know that's bullshit. You know that is not a true statement. And like I said earlier, I may have taken down some things off my wall, but you do see where we go one, we go all, right? Okay. Well, you all will know the truth one day, and it's going to be very enlightening when you realize that we were not alone. We were in a group of patriots that understood things that others may not yet comprehend. But just remember what I told you. This coup attempt, which you're witnessing right now, had its roots many, many years ago. And I think looking at Pappy Bush is a great place to start. Looking at the creation of the Carlyle Group, which has done massive amounts of commerce and work with the Chinese. Those members of the Carlyle Group are deeply embedded into China. And of course, they all know that Joe Biden's nothing more than a marionette, a puppet being used by the deep state to set everything up for the final blow to nationalism and to our republic and to the Constitution, Second Amendment, on and on. But we have already resolved we're not giving in, and we're locked and loaded, and we're not going to give up our country. So if you want to say this is 1776 2.0, you can call it what you want. But these demons are deeply, deeply involved at some of the deepest levels to steal this election from our president, and we the people are drawing the line in the sand saying enough is enough. So, friends, I'm sorry I went an hour and 30 minutes, but I want to tell you God bless every one of you. I hope you are watching this on this very day, Monday the 9th. Tomorrow is the 10th of November. It's a Marine Corps birthday. I hope you'll take a minute and say a little prayer for the Marines, to include this old retired Marine. And then the very next day is Veterans Day. And it's just a glorious time. I love this time of year, and I hope you do. And if you know any veterans or Marines, take a second and thank them for their service. I'm sure they'd appreciate it. But you can also show your kindness by donating millions of dollars to different, I'm just kidding. But if you the owner of GoDaddy, Bob Parsons, he's a former Vietnam Marine, and he used to do specials at GoDaddy all the time. I hope he does one this year, and if he does, I'll make sure I blast it out to everybody. But God bless America. God bless you. Don't give up the fight. We're going to win this thing, and the best is yet to come. But I thank you again for spending some time with me. By the way, take a little time and look at my description tag at some of the things I'm involved in. We're getting close to the holiday season. We got Thanksgiving coming up, and before you know it, we'll be into Christmas. And I know a lot of you out there, you really don't want to fight the hustle and bustle of going to the mall and doing your Christmas shopping. Well, can I recommend to you that you check out my company called My Daily Choice HempWorks? You can join as an affiliate for free, which would allow you, if you're so inclined at any point in time in the future, to share a couple links with people. And if they decide to share it with others, you can make money. Now, I joined that company in January 2019. And I've been paid faithfully each and every Thursday by that company. It's been one of the best financial decisions I've ever made. And many of you listened to me and joined my team. And I want to commend all of you that are still with me after almost 2 years. But I want to speak out to those of you that don't know what I'm talking about. Take the time to take the free tour, see what this is all about. But this is about the green wave. The hemp industry is projected to grow at 700% plus year in and year out for the foreseeable future. I'm inviting you, number one, to become part of that hemp revolution, but also become part of one of the most perfect home-based businesses I've ever seen or been involved in. So I challenge you to check it out. I'd love to have you on the team. That's all I'm going to say about that. However, you can also become a customer. You can become a customer and save money, but you can buy product and you can have it drop shipped right to the front door of the person you want to give it to as a gift at Christmas, and tell them to, hey, put it under the tree and don't open it until Christmas Eve or whatever. Or you can have it sent to you You can package it up and send it in a box, you know. But I'm telling you, we have some absolutely phenomenal products. That's why my particular business, my organization, I call it the Motley Crew. It's been steady growing month in and month out. And I really do believe this holiday season is we're going to see some records set because we've got so many neat products now as compared to a year ago. Our compensation plan is one of the best in the industry. So if you, whoever you are, anywhere in the world, if you're looking to join an organization that can really put some money in your pocket, we got people in Europe, we got people in Africa making big money, and you can do the same. We don't make any promises. We just lay it out in front of you and say, listen, check this out. If you like what you see, come join us. Buy some product, give them as gifts. See how your friends and family react to the products. I'm not going to try to sell you on nothing. You're smart people. But I would hope that you would have enough respect for me to at least give it a look. Because I always try to put, you know, good things down in the description tag for people. I'm not into scams. I don't do that kind of stuff. But check it out and see what happens. All right? Well, friends, have a wonderful night. It's Monday. But I'm looking for our president to come out and give a massive speech and basically continue to awaken the American public, but to tell everything about COVID-19 and continue to fire the demons as quickly as he can. And anyway, with that, I'm going to bid you all farewell till we meet again. But God bless you. I'm praying for you, and I hope you're doing the same for me. But when I went in for my checkup today, my doctor told me, she said, you know, Steve, she said, somebody's looking after you. I said, what do you mean, ma'am? And she said, you were about 1 to 2 days away from developing another wound on the bottom of your foot. And she said, but I got it. She said, I'm taking care of it. You're not going to have a problem. And I said, well, what in the world's going on? I said, why was I going to have another wound? She said, well, the way the feet operate, your feet develop these calluses. You know, and when the callus builds up to a certain point, it's like having a rock in your shoe. And what would a rock create? A blister. Well, when you create a blister, that becomes a wound, and it has to be treated from the inside out. Ugh. So she said she shaved off all the calluses, and I'm now good to go. But she says I have to go in at least, I can't go any longer than 2 months. And I think I was last in there in August. So what? September, October? Well, yeah, I guess it was about, I was in there on my birthday, August the 20th. So it had been about 3 months. And so she said, you know, get you an appointment for 2 months from now, and we'll take care of it. But I was very lucky, is what I'm saying. And I don't believe in accidents. And, you know, I was still back east when I called them to get an appointment, and they were so backed up that the first appointment I could get was the 9th of November at 11 o'clock. But it all worked out. And I attribute so much of that to the prayers of the good people on my behalf. So just understand that the prayer is a reciprocal thing. And I know I appreciate all you prayer warriors out there that pray for me and my health. And I'm doing the same thing for y'all because we're a collective. Together we're powerful. Individually, yes, we are powerful, but we need to sound off. Now, I've been censored real bad lately. You know, I can't upload on my main YouTube channel, so I'm using my secondary. This channel was originally designed to be my HempWorks channel. Hence the header on my channel and all that stuff. But still, you please subscribe and click that little yellow bell if you want to be notified when my next video comes out. But this will be where I'm uploading videos for the foreseeable future until my main site is out of jail. Same thing at Facebook. I'm in Facebook jail. I started out for 90 days, and then they reduced my sentence to 30. I think I've completed like 5 or 6 days until I can get back on Facebook. But I highly recommend Brighteon.social. I recommend Parlor.com. I recommend Gab. I like Gab. I don't have hardly any followers on Gab. I don't know what the hell's going on over there, but I do like it. There's another thing called Clout Hub, but they've been attacked mercilessly lately, and they're like a Patriot site that allows you to shoot videos on your iPhone or whatever and then immediately upload them to the Clout Hub. But I've tried every time I tried to do that the other day and it didn't make it up there. And then I read that they had been viciously attacked by the demons, and they had been using IBM as their backbone. But IBM being an international globalist BLM company, Clout Hub has got to find a new backbone. I got to contact a couple guys back east. I was involved in this internet marketing thing back around 2009. I think is when it came out. And I'm not going to get into the details of it. That's not important. What is important was it was a legitimate online program. And in a period of 2 months, I made about $12,000. I had a friend that I signed up. He was in Seattle. He made about $9,000 or $10,000 in 2 months. And he signed up a guy in Atlanta who made about $18,000. So here was a guy 3 levels below me that made more than me. I love programs like that. But this was so simple. And we were issued these debit cards. And we got paid 24 hours a day. If you earned money, that money was deposited on your debit card immediately, 24 hours a day. And I remember I was back in Virginia in 2009. And I got in my damn car one day. This was in the middle of the summer. And I decided I was going to go to Idaho and visit my son. So I got in that car and I took off. And that whole trip from Virginia to Idaho, the only money that I spent was the money that I used on that debit card. And again, I'm going to get in touch with these guys and say, listen, why can't we resurrect that thing and make some major modifications? You know what? Maybe I won't get in touch with them guys because it was those guys that blew this thing up in the first place and made it so that we all lost out. But anyway, so that whole trip from Virginia to Idaho and back, the only money that I spent was on that one card. Gas, food, lodging, movies, snacks, IHOP, Cracker Barrel, you name it, I used that card. And 2 months into it, this thing was going freaking gangbusters. 2 months into it, the two creators, the two business partners, they had a major disagreement about something, and instead of resolving it, they crashed the company. Based out of Wilmington, North Carolina. You know what? I'm going to try to resurrect that thing. Why not? Anyway, That's another story. But friends, the reason I wanted to close with this is this is a perfect time with the holidays coming up, with COVID-19, people still freaking out, even though they have no reason to. You know, when I was flying across the country a week ago actually, a little over a week ago, I actually talked to a lot of, I wish I could have had one of those hidden cameras. And maybe one of these days I'll join, James O'Keefe or something. But I realized that most of these people, I hope this isn't true for all of you watching this, but a lot of people are truly fearful of contracting COVID, and they really do think that the mask is going to protect them. Now, I know human beings come in all shapes and sizes and all levels of mental acuity. But come on, man, listen. You know the mask don't work, okay? If there was such a virus, the mask don't work, okay? That's number one. We're being conditioned. This is a mental conditioning to get you to conform to their mandates. And what you're witnessing from wherever you are in the world, this Joe Creepy Biden has not been declared the winner of the election, nor will he be. You've got 7 fake news agencies, like I said, to include Fox, that have, of their own volition. What about Laura Ingraham coming out on her show, The Ingraham Angle, the other night, and saying she thinks President Trump should concede, but do so gratefully? Laura, what the hell are you talking about? You sound like somebody who's received a big bonus check for several $7 million and an extension on your contract at Fox if you say the right things. Please, Laura, don't sell out. We the people appreciate you, and Sean and Tucker. But don't be surprised if Tucker doesn't run for president, friends, in 2024. Crazier things have happened. But he has proven himself. He's number one in viewership of all the shows on TV. He's the most trusted. He's the new Walter Cronkite, who was a globalist, by the way. Not going to get into that. Yeah, the most trusted man in the world, Walter Cronkite, driving us into oblivion, into the deep state, never to return, to be eaten alive by the swamp creatures. Friends, we just can't. Patriots out there, we can't allow this to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's too blatant, too in your face. It's going to be a re-election. It's got to be something like that. But we're going to win. We're going to definitely win. But be prepared. You've been given a stay. You've been given more time to get yourself prepared. By the way, I got to leave. I got to go get me some magazines. I got, let's see, I need 20, 40, 60, 80. I need 10. I'm going to go ahead and get 10 more magazines, and then I won't have any loose rounds hanging around like, well, I had a box. Oh, yeah, right here. These boxes come in 20 to a box, so I just get the 20-round magazine. I like 20-round magazines the best. I got several 30. Oh, and I got a couple 30s, and I got a couple 40s. You never know. You might need them. If they start coming through the wire, All right, friends. God bless you all. It's so great to be with you again. I hope I shed some light on a few things, but I guess the crux or the bottom line of it is this takeover has been brewing. It's been in the works for a long, long time. But look to the Carlyle Group. They're deeply involved in all of this. They were involved in 9/11. They wanted to rebuild Iraq with all of the big government agencies like Halliburton, where Cheney had been the president or the CEO, I think he was. So they were going to use the destruction of Iraq to rebuild it with government taxpayer money. And they didn't get their wish because of Al Qaeda. It was also their creation. So their own creation turned on them. Funny how that works out. I think it's called karma. Anyway, God bless you all, friends. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm glad to be back with you. If you like what I say, please share my videos with your family, friends, people at work. You know, we're only as good as the information we got at any given time. And I know a person could do a lot worse than getting the information from this channel. Oh, and don't forget, here'syourredpill.com. That's my website, and I invite you to check it out. I hope you like it. And I'll be talking to all of you again very, very soon. So do as Lieutenant General Flynn said and relax, take a deep breath, and just chill out a little while and watch the work of the Lord, okay? Talk to you soon, Patriots. Love you. Bye.